All right. Well, I think we're live. Are we live, folks? Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Good morning from North Carolina. I was running behind today, Reid. I was like, so I'm usually here early, and I was just like, yeah, it wasn't my kind of morning.
Yeah, for something like this, I'd expect you here at the crack of dawn.
Yeah, almost slept over. We still need a cot in the office so I can stay here.
Yeah, well, whereas just like with airports, I'm the last one to walk onto the plane, so
Yeah,
it's kind of how it goes with these types of things too.
yeah.
But shockingly, I had a great sleep last night, so everybody watch out. I might be a chatterbox.
Good. Well, you can start your chatterbox with the opening remarks.
Yeah. Thank you, David.
Yes.
Well, we are doing our third Digible Summit, and the first one started off here in Denver, which was great, down at the Oxford Hotel, and we were able to do it in person. And it's kind of, I don't want to say on a whim because that's not giving us enough credit. We did think through it before we launched the Digital Summit, and it was when it was just the three of us. So sharing a little bit of our story. Myself, David, and Nicole are the co-founders, and I think it was our first market visit. And I want to say it was Sarah from Epic, and we were going to Phoenix to take a tour of the property and actually do a focus group down there. And then after we wrapped that up, we went and had a beer. Or I did, you didn't. And we just started talking about, the future at Digible. And as we like to, that's all we could talk about at that time because not a whole lot had happened yet. But we made the comment that it'd be pretty cool someday to have our own event where we could express our own opinions, maybe do some of the hot takes that you love to get at, etc. And I remember that was just kind of fantasy at the time. And then we went to a couple of conferences ourselves not long after that. So we had kind of forgotten about the idea of the summit. And not to be critical or anything, but we just, as we checked out some of the other conferences, we were like, maybe there is something here. Maybe we should do something like this, and really kind of give our slant and talk about some things maybe not enough people are. So I'm going to be talking for about 20 more minutes, folks, just about this one story.
Well, that's the famous, that's what you're known for around here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The long rants and rambles, walks on the beaches. Anyways, so then it was like, well, let's get serious and do this. And we ended up again back in Denver, Oxford, and it was great. We loved spending time with our clients. We had some great speakers kind of out of the industry, a lot of great feedback, and it just felt great. So we were like, let's keep doing this. And then the pandemic hit. And last year, obviously, we did it virtually, and I thought it also went really well. And we had great speakers again, etc. Fast forward to this year, the question was, do we do it in person or do we do it virtually? And we just felt like we were kind of right there.
Or do it at all.
Or do it at all. That's right. And we just ended up right there in the middle of kind of like, well, it's a no-brainer to do this virtually, or should we roll the dice and have people come here? So that's long story, super long, but that's how we got to this year's Digible Summit. And we've had a lot of help and a lot of great kind of promotion along the way if anybody hasn't seen it. But in front of me, not over my right shoulder, we have Erica and Steve, who've been a big part of this, and Eddie and so many people just trying to get the word out. So we're thankful to you guys, for spreading the word about the Digital Summit. And I'm super excited to get into it. I think we got some great panels, some great topics, and we're looking forward to seeing the chat board light up, and hopefully we'll be able to get at all those questions. So nothing's out of bounds here.
Yeah.
How was that?
Not bad opening remarks. Are you going to be having a couple 1-2 soda pops before we're done with the day, or
soda pops?
Well, you said beer.
Yeah. That depends on how things go.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So we've got a pretty. I'll say it's weird. It's like a packed agenda. I think mostly because we don't have the buffers. Last year we did a lot of breakout sessions. This year we're just gonna roll straight from each session to another versus breakouts.
Yeah.
So I've been more worried about the timing this time, meaning if we're running long or short or whatever on things. So
yeah, well, I like to leave things like that to you to worry about.
Oh, to worry about the timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just keep ranting.
Yeah. Did you see your bike video this morning?
I did. I'm glad that we made it here in one piece. I thought I looked incredibly graceful, leading the charge on that. That that bike, we heard it was something like $8,000.
Yeah. For those that don't know, like Erica, who's giggling in the back, it's been her dream for probably like a year and a half to get us on what she calls a tandem bike. I don't know if that's actually the real name of it, but it's a triple seater, one steering wheel, and then everybody has to pedal at the same rate. So anyway, she was able to get us the bike shop down the street to loan us. Apparently, they're one of the most prolific tandem bike shops in the country. They ship bikes all over the place, but they were telling you it was an $8,000 bike, and they were like, "Don't wreck it, Reid." And,
yeah. And then they told me I'd captain it because I outweighed you and Nicole combined. So I was like, "Thank you very much."
Yeah,
makes sense.
So that bike video was Erica's contribution to today, since it's Bike to Work Day. So if you haven't seen it, it's on LinkedIn. You guys can see that video, but there was a lot more effort that went into
She
that.
spared us the B-roll. I thought, Erica, that you were going to show a lot of us crashing because that did happen multiple times. We almost got taken out by a Cintas uniform truck.
Oh, yeah. He was pissed.
In the valley. Yeah, he was honking at us. He wasn't happy.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, let's go through the agenda quickly, and then we'll bring Lurch in for the first session. So let me just pull it up here. I don't even know if our production crew has it or if I just say it. Did I just say it? I just read the agenda. All right. See this now it feels like we're a bigger operation because I get to talk off, break the fourth wall, waving at Erica, talking to Steve. All right. So our first session is going to be about fair housing. We're going to have a fair housing data presentation. So David Lurchbacher, our chief data officer, is going to come in and he'll go through an audit that his team did where they scanned, I think it was like 2,300 websites and then like 1,500 Instagram profiles and Facebook profiles of different properties all over the country, and to see what kind of just how significant the problem in the industry may be with fair housing. So I thought that data was really fascinating, and I'm excited for you guys to get a look at it. Then once he's done, about 9:30 Mountain Time, we'll have our fair housing and digital compliance panel. So we're going to start with Doug Chasik. You guys may or may not be familiar with him, but he's known as
the fair housing guy.
Yeah, nicely done.
Used to be the apartment doctor, but made a big change, and we're glad he did because he's been amazing.
Yeah. Now Doug we'll be beaming him in from a remote location. But Doug's currently, he just bought an RV like a few months ago, and so he's been like tooling around the country. So he's somewhere in East Texas right now looking for Wi-Fi. So Doug will come in and we'll talk a little bit about the data that we talked about earlier, as well as some other things. And then about 30 minutes later, about 10 o'clock, we'll have Scott Burris, who's from Temple University. And Reid, I feel like you've done a lot on Steve or Scott's bio. So do you want to give a little bit of background on him?
Yeah, well, he seems like a fairly smart guy. He graduated from Yale with his law degree at Yale, and then he moved on to Temple and is now doing work with public health and a lot of different avenues. So that was kind of interesting to me. If you look at his profile, like what all fits underneath that umbrella, and fair housing, is actually one of those. So his team and this kind of stable of great attorneys that he works with do a lot of work in interpreting fair housing laws. And so that's how we initially kind of bumped into him. I don't know if it was a referral or if it was somebody that, how you had actually come upon him, but truly brilliant guy. And we've been working with them now for at least 6 months. So it's been a nice combination between Doug and Scott and just guiding Digible, as well as some of the product development we put against fair housing. So I think he's going to be a wonderful, wonderful guest. Looking forward to talking to him.
Yeah, he, he probably had to cancel his interview with CNN to come visit us. I say that because you may not know this, but just like a few weeks ago, he was on like MSNBC. When I went to go pull his profile, I saw all of his like broadcast news interviews. I was like, oh yeah, no, totally. We get that guy.
Yeah, that's right. He's published like 200 books or something. I don't know, something crazy. So
yeah, super excited to have Scott, but he'll be coming right out of class. So as long as no nosy student keeps asking him questions, then, we'll have him on time. All right. So then after that, we're going to move into your consumerization panel.
Yeah. And this one, we don't want to take too much credit here, but the idea of doing this year, the consumerization actually came from our friends at Real Foundation, David Stanford, and he'll be one of the speakers, but he had come to David and I and brought this up as something that he felt it was a really interesting topic for his company. And so just so you guys know, they're kind of like I'll call it a McKinsey of the real estate industry, single family, multifamily, soup to nuts, just a great firm to talk to. And we bumped into him a few years ago at Optech and have been able to maintain the relationship since. And he's just been a wealth of information. But he said, hey, obviously your expertise is marketing. That's where we're a little bit light. And so we'd love for you guys to talk to our company about how consumerization is affecting multifamily marketing. And we had to unpack consumerization and that came up when I was talking to some of our panelists, just in how they define it. But once we kind of settled on that, which simply put, it's like how the resident experience has dramatically changed in the last decade and has really brought forward a lot of new technology and not a lot of new ways of operating, et cetera, how that translates to the marketer. And so we did a presentation there. And then after we went through it, both of us, I think, were pretty intrigued and wanted to go a little bit deeper. And we said, why not carry this forward into our own summit, but not just talk about the marketing impact or effect, but also some of the companies that are disrupting, kind of creating, you could say, that consumerization, as well as David himself talking more about kind of the operational side, owners, investors, how they're thinking about it. So I think we have 3 super cool perspectives about consumerization in multifamily that we'll hear about. And I'm sure David will talk a little bit about single family too. So super pumped about, for that panel.
Yeah, cool. For those that may not know, Nicole's been taking a consumer experience course. Is that what she's on the board of at the DU?
She's your wife.
Yeah. It's not like I review her homework or get her report cards or anything, but it connects with me because we did do a podcast on that. And then she has been talking a lot about just like the entire customer journey. And we, in the apartment marketing side, we've been dealing mostly with obviously like the front end, like someone's first experience with the brand, but not the total experience. And a lot of the conversation you've had with Stanford and, that we had during our meeting with him, felt like it was, this is more of like, yes, there's the first impression, but then there's the ongoing customer life cycle. And it's more of like, how do you then roll from marketing into the customer life cycle and sort of look at that total customer experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's still like 9 o'clock for me.
Nice
I don't warm up till 11:30. So
that's anyway. Right when I start to fade.
Yeah.
I'm good for about 2 hours.
I don't know why we gave me like the first session when we know that's when I suffer the most. I should have been like on the back end. I should be running the midnight hour. If I was a radio DJ, I would only vie for the midnight spot.
Well, you're always on, so it's good for some people to see you fall on your face a few times.
Good. All right. So after Reid's consumerization panel, then we're going to move into a presentation about CRO or conversion rate optimization. So we've got some slides pulled together just to talk through what is conversion rate optimization. Why should you care? Then what are some stats for the industry? So just generally, what are some what's normal in the industry for conversion rates? And then we go through best practices. And if we still have time, we'll show some good examples of sites that are doing a decent job. And we'll make that an interactive session where the audience, we'll see if you were paying attention, and you guys will get to add to the chat, like what's going well with the site or what's not going well with the site. So hopefully if your site was chosen and you happen to be in the audience, you've got thick skin. We only picked good sites. I didn't pick the bad sites, but we'll show other examples of that. And then finally, Reid will wrap up with Digible Roadmap, which is new for us. We don't usually talk about, well, individually we'll talk about what's coming, but when we do events or things, we don't usually like to talk about Digible.
Yeah, well, we never wanted this to be a timeshare or some sort of Digible, I guess, pitch. But we get asked all the time, hey, what's next for you guys? And I think a lot of people are starting to see us more as a product company, which is exciting. And I think it's a testament to so many of the great people we have here, Steve included, just a lot of the new ideas that are being brought forward at Digible. And we can't pursue them all at once, but we do have a pretty big appetite. And I think we're scrappy. We do a lot with less. And so because of that, we've dramatically expanded our product suite. And it's not all about products per se. There's some service stuff side in there too that I think is pretty cool that we're going to be doing. Over in 2022. But we usually try to pull that back, but we're going to go ahead and lean into it this time and share with people where Digible's headed and some of the super cool products that we'll be unveiling.
Yeah, we've gotten some feedback recently from clients and non-clients saying like that they're aware of us, but they don't know about everything that we're working on, and they feel sometimes left out that we don't talk as much about the stuff that we're, I'll say, working on or bringing to market. And sometimes they're like, well, what the heck? Why didn't I know about this? So that was the impetus, or one of the reasons for this session.
Well, I think it's hard, in particular for Nicole's group, just as far as, how much to communicate, because there is so much happening here. There's so many new things that we're introducing, and we don't want our clients, or I'll say even the industry, to get kind of seasick when they talk to Digible or hear about us. But at the same time, we shouldn't hold back, I guess, all the innovation that we're doing. So yeah. I'm glad we're adding that one in.
But I guess we don't mind doing that to the staff.
No,
I feel like we're on
staff
like a
gets
giant,
hit.
we're on the Nina or the Pinta, and everyone's like puking over the side right now.
Yeah, we hand out Dramamine before every Monday roundup.
Yeah, totally. All right, well, I guess we're going to bring in David Lurchbacher to go through his presentation.